happy and we're singing and we're colored. Give me a high five.
What's going on, you guys? It's your boy Joe Castro, aka Philly Fresco, joined by my guy Big Game James, and it is another episode of Best of Enemies. So today we're gonna get into the top 15. Man, we're gonna get into our top 15 quarterbacks in the NFL. We've seen a lot of different, lists coming on Twitter and everything. We meant to do this yesterday or the day before. Life happens. It is what it is. But James, my guy, what's going on? How you doing, brother?
Doing great, doing great. Good to see you again. Glad you had a good time out there kicking and doing your thing. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. I didn't
Definitely.
get to go live yesterday and wish them all the live fathers out there, but definitely fathers don't get enough credit out there in these streets, man. So it's time that we make sure we give a lot of the fathers out there their due. So happy Father's Day, salute. And it's always good to talk to you and jump on our podcast like we do.
Yeah, I already see a lot of people saying they excited for this list. Trust me, we are as well. I will say,
Mhm.
I want to talk a little bit about some stuff before we get into the top 15. But I
Okay.
will say about this top 15, I think we both were a little bit surprised that we were so fair. Yeah, I think we knew that we were going to be fair, but looking at the players and how they kind of fell out, we were pretty similar on a lot of things. So I think, this will be a good conversation to have. But there has been things happening, obviously, in the NFL world. The Eagles pick up Jaquiski Tart, safety from the 49ers. Like, quickly, what does it mean for the Philadelphia Eagles? It means that we have a veteran at the safety position, something that we were sorely lacking. I'm not going to sit here and say that we just, picked up Earl Thomas in his prime, but we definitely raised our floor at the very least. I think that Jaquiski Tart playing 81% of the snaps since like 2017. He's a veteran. He's a guy that should be able to nab the starting job. And I've said this before to other people. If he doesn't, I think that's a good sign for Philadelphia and who they have in that safety room. But as a Cowboys fan, I know that you guys know who Jaquiski Tart is, especially from last year. What was your overall, thought process? Did it even cross your mind when you heard the Eagles went out and picked up Jaquiski Tart?
I mean, not really. It didn't really cross my mind. I mean, I see y'all aggressive. I'm gonna give you aggressiveness. That's all good. But like I said, it's a long season. It's good that you got the acquisitions, but we haven't even hit training camp yet. So,
Yeah.
I'm gonna look at that and say, hey, Philadelphia was being aggressive like we've seen this whole season. You know what I mean? This whole offseason. You guys went hard in the draft. You got aggressive with the draft picks. You got aggressive in the offseason, trading, picking up people after they release, going after it. So, it's good for y'all. I can't hate on it. But like I said, we'll see. You still got to put on the pads. It hasn't even been training camp yet. So I'm not really too worried about it. I'm concerned about, see what these Cowboys going to do. So, hey, keep on doing your thing, but we'll see you soon.
We'll see you soon.
We'll see you soon.
Carlos saying value the safety position. I won't say that the Eagles really valued
Hey,
the safety position. I mean, this isn't really like like I said, it's not a top tier pickup, but it is a good pickup. I am appreciative of this. This is something that the Eagles needed. I will say after they changed their word mark, I think this is kind of here's something to shut you guys up because people hate that word mark for some reason. But looking forward to the NFL season, right? And this is kind of going towards the top 15 that we did for this list. how how much are you weighing that? Like, how much of an impact do you think this draft class will realistically have on this season? And do you think any of these quarterbacks may? Because I don't think we put any rookies, or I think we may have put one or two towards the end. But do you think any of these rookies may come into this, top 32 list and kind of, up their value a little bit as a quarterback? Is there any sneaky quarterback prospects that came out this year that you're looking at?
no, not at all. I thought this was not say mediocre class, but it wasn't a star class. But here's the thing: people always feel like every year quarterbacks come out, they overdraft these quarterbacks. Man, they got the pressure, especially if you got these teams who need a quarterback. You got quarterbacks coming out, and in their heads they're saying, this ain't the guy, but we're going to go ahead and pick him anyway because the quarterback. Too many times they're doing that, and I've seen teams who really didn't do that this year. I like that. Somebody named Willis. I like that. And I like to see how the Kenny Pickett thing happens with Pittsburgh because he's in that area, played in that area. Everybody said about the small hands. I don't know if he's a difference making quarterback, but we'll see. He played pretty good in Pittsburgh, so we'll see how that kind of goes. And like I said, Willis may have a chance, but I don't think any of these guys are jumping in there being world beaters. No, at all.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that. Like, Dank Burrito says Sam Howell. Sam Howell, honestly, he had a bad year this last year. I won't, sugarcoat it. But he also lost most of his offense, to the draft the prior year. He's the only person. I'll say this: he's the only person that was supposed to be in that, list of quarterbacks towards the end of the year, and stood there. So I'll give him that. He was probably the most consistent out of all these guys. But I do like the upside of him, Malik Willis. I do like the upside of even a guy like Matt Corral, a guy like Kenny Pickett. I don't know. Kenny Pickett is a guy that I think that he's fun to watch. I think it's cool, but I don't think he'll be able to do that in the NFL, what he was doing in college. So it'll be interesting to see if they can kind of form, kind of get their game ready for the NFL. I don't know if they can. I kind of agree with you. I don't think any of these quarterbacks are really going to make any type of real impact. Now, I want to talk about the bottom 17 that we did, right? I want to ask you, we'll look at your bottom 17 and then I'll look at mine and I'll answer the question too. But I want to ask you, do you think any of these guys, when the year is done, 2022 is done, they'll be higher than you have them here right now?
So like when we're talking about the Trevor Lawrences of the world, the Zach Wilsons of the world, you saying that?
Yeah, just in. I mean, even if
Yeah,
it's
I think I'm gonna be honest. Maybe it might be blind faith, but I like two players that I like. I like three. I'm not as high on Trevor Lawrence. I'm sorry. I'm just not. I got to see more of him. Don't think he wasn't a nice player at a Clemson, but this uh best prospect out of seen 20 years. No, I don't see that. But I do like Zach Wilson. I think it's going to be a key year for him, obviously, but they did add weapons for him, and the offensive line, they added a lot of weapons. So I think they're putting it in there to say, hey, we want to see what really Zach Wilson can do as well. And I ain't gonna lie, like I know what you said, and I do keep an eye on it that he might be a little aloof, maybe as a leader. Maybe we'll see. But that talent is there, that arm is there, and I think he's going to get better this year. And I like Justin Fields. I like Justin Fields. I like his trajectory. Getting the coordinator from Indianapolis, I think that'll be a pretty good fit.
yeah.
Because he was over there with Dallas. Can't think of his name right now, but it'll come to me. And we'll see about Trey Lance. I like his ability. I think it was good that they kind of sat him out and he got to sit back and kind of look at the NFL a little bit. So I like to see what he can do. So I think they can creep up a little bit. I definitely feel like they can, especially with adding the pieces around them, like the teams look like they tried to do.
Yeah. I keep on hearing Zach Wilson's name as a guy to watch out for. Like, mostly it's from Jets fans. I'll be honest with you, but I have heard that a lot of people think that this Jets team is built differently. I haven't really heard Jets fans talking in the past couple decades, so it seems like they're really excited about this team. So I'll give you that. Trevor Lawrence, I definitely think that you can't really get much worse than he did last year. Last year was pretty bad, especially with all the expectations behind him. Moving to my list, if I had to say anybody might move up in this list, I'll give you Zach Wilson. I probably wouldn't move him. I mean, at 30, it's hard to not move up from there. So I guess Zach Wilson. I really like Trey Lance. I think if he's given the keys to this castle, I think that he'll do something with it. He's a guy that hasn't really, he didn't have a lot of film on him, right? He only had that one really, really good year, and it wasn't against great competition. But I think that there's a lot of talent there. I think that he's a really good player, so I'm excited to see what he can do this year. Tua is probably going to go up on my list just off the sheer fact of now you got the cheetah, you got a pretty good wide receiving core out there and a pretty good offense. So Tua will probably move up. And I'm hoping Jalen Hurts moves up. I think that's I think that's pretty obvious, right?
You are hoping. You want that. You need that. You absolutely need Jalen Hurts to move up.
Especially with all the talk I've been doing. I had my shirt, but I have to wash it now. I got my one is better than four shirt, but it is what it is. I don't have it on me now, but I do think that I think Jalen Hurts has the opportunity. He has all the players in place to go ahead and move on up and be that guy that the Eagles need. So we'll see. But those are probably the
We'll
only,
see.
maybe a Davis Mills. I don't, maybe a Davis Mills moves up, but he doesn't really have any help.
Right. Yeah, he doesn't really have any help. We'll see how how the Texans really do. It's still going they're going to be kind of brutal for the next few years, in my opinion. But and that can kind of ruin a rookie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We've seen rookies come in and get ruined early. Top draft picks get sacked 50, 60 times, and they ain't never the same. But one thing I like Davis Mills Moxie, and he wasn't kind of like no first rounder. So I feel like the maybe not as much pressure on him. You know what I'm saying? So I
Yeah.
feel like maybe it can be a slow work with him, but I like Davis Mills. You know what I mean? I like what he brought to the table. I think he can move up a little bit. We'll see what happens with those Texans. And shout out to everybody that's jumping in the chat. Everybody's getting in here. Definitely want to give a shout out to everybody. Appreciate everybody on every side. Can't get all the names in, but I appreciate everybody that's in here listening to us right now.
Yeah, man, we got 50 plus people in here between the two channels. So be sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe, whatever
Yeah,
side you're
definitely do
on.
that. Mhm.
And if you guys got questions, please drop them in the chat, man. We love to get these questions in. You guys asked some really, really good questions. Now, a question I want to ask you. All right, because going into next year, and this is maybe the Philly hating me, right? This is probably
It's
the Philly
pride.
hating me.
It's the Philly hate.
I got to get it out at
You
least.
a
Like
hater.
I said, I don't have my
You a
shirt, so I have
hater.
to get it in
You a
somehow.
hater. You is a hater.
What? And I asked your boy Kyle Yeomans this too, and they answered it on their podcast and everything.
Mhm.
What? How much? How do I say this? How hot is your coaching staff seat? Like, how big is this season? Like, is there, if you guys don't make the playoffs, or if you guys do make the playoffs, lose round one or something like that, what is going to happen? Do you guys, is there any possibility that you think this team would just say, we got to blow this up, let's restart? Like, where are you guys? Because it is, I mean, we talk our back and forth, we talk our junk, but it was kind of clear that the Eagles were in a rebuild. They were trying to, at the very least, retool some things. But with the Cowboys, it's kind of a gray area. Like, you guys are still talented, but you obviously took a little bit of a step back when it comes to some of your players. So how much pressure is on this coaching staff for you guys?
I mean, in my opinion, I don't see where Mike McCarthy lasts. I don't hate Mike McCarthy. I don't think he's a bad coach. I think if he leaves Dallas, go somewhere else, he'll win. I don't know if he's going to Super Bowls and stuff, but I think he'll win somewhere else. I don't think he's a bad coach. But I feel like the fire is on him. If you look at Jerry Jones and his trajectory of his hiring of coaches, since he's been the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, the longest coaches in his tenure that have been there have been Jason Garrett, somebody he handpicked, and that's why he was there for 10 years, because he wanted to show it out. He didn't want to cut him early because that was his guy. You know what I'm saying? And then you saw Jimmy Johnson, who came in and won, obviously, the Super Bowls, 2 Super Bowls, and then Barry Switzer with the other Super Bowl. So Barry Switzer, all of those coaches after them, Jimmy Johnson did 5 years, I believe. Jason Garrett did 10. I believe everybody else did 3 and out. Once you get 3 years with with Jerry Jones, if you're not producing by then, he gets rid of you. What is this year for Mike McCarthy? This is year 3. You just came off the COVID season. Yeah, you can kind of use that season as the throwaway. You came off a very impressive 12-5 season. You had everything there, and failure once again in one of the damn near the first round again, right? So if you sit there and tell me if you lost a little bit and you come back and you don't make the playoffs, absolutely he can't be the head coach. There's no reason for you to keep him. You brought him over here from Green Bay to be somebody like Jerry Jones said, I need somebody who got skins on the wall, somebody who's been in the foxhole. That's why you were brought over, to win a Super Bowl, because you won games. So that's why, only reason why you came over here. So if you don't even make the playoffs after going where you did and after the way you lost in the playoffs, then yes, I don't see you having a job. If you go to the playoffs first round, I still don't think you stay, because what for? This is year 3. You haven't did anything again. What is the reason why you're here then? You understand what I'm saying? They
Definitely.
got rid of Jason Garrett for you to take them over the hump. You have not did that in 3 years. And if you're not even getting past a first round, there's no reason for us to say that you're going to do it in the next couple years in your 5-year deal. And plus, Jerry's getting older. He's going to get impatient. I don't care what the heck he says about that Sean Payton thing. Now, I seen where the Miami Dolphins are willing to throw a lot of cash and a lot of money at him. But there's no salary cap with coaches. And Jerry Jones got that money to get a coach. And if he wants Sean Payton, I feel like he can get him. So that door, in my opinion, is not closed. And I feel like it's hot fish grease season for Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, and I want to bring this up as well. Somebody from your chat, Jay Lombardi, shout out to him.
Shout
He
out
says
to you, Jay.
the fire needs to be on Boy Wonder more. The reason why I
Yeah.
bring this up is because a couple
Yeah.
years ago, I felt like Kellen Moore could do no wrong.
Yeah.
So it's really a two-part question. One, what happened, right? Like all jokes aside, really just what happened over the past couple years that, because I feel like you guys don't like this guy anymore. So what happened?
I
And,
don't
and
hate on Kellen Moore. See, that's the thing. I don't hate on Kellen Moore.
yeah,
It's the easy thing. Let's keep it real, Joe. It's the
mm,
easy thing when Kurt Warner and they put out videos and start busting you out as far as what you're doing, as far as your play calling, and it always happens when you're coming a new play caller. And you're the guy that everybody's pumping up. Everybody's gonna be talking those things like you're the world's greatest thing. I have always liked Kellen Moore. I felt like he has a NFL mind. I felt like he can do it. Um, I am not hating on Kellen Moore. All I'm saying is, in my opinion, get better. And I feel like
yeah,
he's been bulletproof, and I don't like that from the organization where they're telling everybody else needs to get better. But I didn't see a lot of the Stephen Jones or the Jerry Jones really coming at the Kellen Moores of the world and saying, "Hey, you need to get better, and if you don't get this better this year, you're out." Well, I haven't seen that kind of fire on him because I feel like once again he's a handpicked person from the
yeah.
Joneses, and when you're a handpicked person from the Joneses, you get leeway. You understand what I'm saying? Especially when you're trying to be touted as the next great. Even though he handpicked Mike McCarthy's already been there and done that. You understand what I'm saying? Kellen
Right.
Moore hasn't. So just like Jason Garrett never hadn't. So that was kind of their project. You understand? So I feel like if it's the Joneses project, you get a longer leash to do what you can do because the Jones handpicked you.
Do you think he could be the next guy? You think if
I
all
said
fails?
I said he would be the next head coach, but I don't know that now because of Dan Quinn and what Dan Quinn has done. And
Mm,
because Dan Quinn has come in because I said this as soon as Kellen Moore became the coordinator, right? I said he was going to be the next head coach because they were going to groom him just like they did Jason Garrett. Because if you look how they did Jason Garrett, it's the same way they had brought in Kellen Moore, the same exact way. So I was like, okay, this is going to be the next boy wonder. They're touting him as the next great coordinator. If he comes in, has these great offices, which they haven't been a bad offense, top 5 every year he's been there. You understand what I'm saying? So that's going to play well to him. But then when they got Dan Quinn comes in and changes that whole defense in a 1 year.
yeah.
And not only that, the team, the players are feeling Dan Quinn. And Dan Quinn has already been a head coach in the NFL, and he's already been to a Super Bowl. So Kellen Moore has not. So I feel like there is where he could trump a Kellen Moore being the guy eventually now.
It's gonna be interesting. I know as an Eagles fan, we're loving the questions that you guys have to answer this offseason. It's gonna be beautiful, and it's gonna be beautiful seeing this year. Now, I do want to switch gears a little bit. I wanted to kind of get all through all that, but I want to switch gears a little bit to this top 15. Before we get into the actual top 15, I feel like I've said that five times, but neither of us, because we talked about this before we got on, we've started to see a lot more lists coming out. ESPN got everybody hot and heavy on these top 32 lists now, so
Yeah.
everybody's got a top 32 quarterback list. We've seen Deshaun Watson on most, if not all of them. I think that
Right.
we're two of probably the only people that did not put him on there.
Right.
I don't think you put him on yours. I don't want to
I
misspeak,
did.
right? You didn't.
No, I
So
didn't.
I know I have my reasons. I'm sure that they're pretty similar to yours. But what was your reasoning for not putting him on your top 32 list?
Because I felt like he was going to be suspended this year. I felt like in my heart, and they're already talking about it. How the rumblings or the rumors of the NFL world are saying they're possibly going to ask for a year suspension, and I felt like that's what they were going to do to him. Because I mean, I just feel like it's too much. I mean, it's just too much. I don't know. Nothing about I've read it in detail, but I'm not gonna get into it. But I just feel like, Joe, it's just too much, dog. You know what I mean? This year it's just too much. Too many people are talking, too many things are going on, and I just feel like everybody can't be lying. And I feel like they're trying to gonna make an example of this as well. And this is about females and women. You understand what I'm saying? And harassment.
Mhm.
And what have they been trumping about since the Ray Rice incident?
Yeah.
Domestic violence and those type of things aren't going to be tolerated in the NFL any longer. So if that's really the case, and that is really still going on with all those, allegations still out there, I don't know where they don't try to go hard on him and make him sit out a whole nother year.
Yeah, yeah, no, and I like I said, I think our reasons are very similar. You add that to the fact that he obviously didn't even play last year, so it's even harder to gauge where he is. If
Right.
we took away that, because I know people are gonna, still ask the question, and
He's a
it's a fair
dog.
question. Would you have? Where would you think? Like I would
If he
probably
would
have
have
him.
played, he'd have been in my top 10.
Yeah, I would probably say like
He would
late
have,
top
yes.
10, end of the
Yeah.
top 10, somewhere like 7 to 10, somewhere around there.
I don't know about 7 to 10 because I'm Deshaun Watson's nice. I can't say it, but I mean he has his streaks where he goes through his ups and downs, his slumps. But I mean, since he's come in the league, he's been pretty consistent. I mean, Deshaun Watson is nice. I mean, when you watch him play, his head together. If his head together and when he had his team, I mean, we saw what he was do. We saw what he's able to do. He's able to run. He's able to throw. I mean, he's got a cannon of an arm. I would definitely feel like he's a top 10 player if his stats back it up. I know he had the bad team, but we've seen it before with other great quarterbacks who've had bad teams. You ain't going 10-5, and you know what I'm saying. You ain't doing all that, and your team is trash. No matter how good of a quarterback you are,
Yeah,
you feel
facts.
me? That's not happening. That's why I call it a team game. You feel me? So just with that aspect of, I feel like you feel about Joe. I feel like he top 10. And depending on the team that he had with him, I felt like he definitely could move up because he has the talent.
Yeah, yeah, and it's gonna be interesting to see what
Ooh,
happens
if
out there with
somebody
all
asked
that.
me, if somebody
Huh?
throw that in that JJ the Mime, Dak or Deshaun right now, $1.99 holler.
Ooh.
I've
Oh, there's
been
no
through this.
way.
Yeah, I've been through this one right here. What would you do? I'm gonna ask you first
It's funny because I was actually
because
about
I've
to ask
had
you
this
that.
debate.
I was literally about
I've
to
had this
ask you that.
debate on my channel, and I vehemently went with Dak. But you go ahead first, and I'm gonna say.
It depends on how your team is built. Like if your team is built like it was last year, where you have all those weapons, I would probably trust Dak more because he's not going to try and do too much. Like he's just going to let your guys do their job. I think Deshaun Watson makes a lot of things happen. Whether it's in the pocket or outside. That's tough. I would probably for my team, I would pick Deshaun. I think Deshaun would fit what the Eagles have going on better than a Dak Prescott would. But I think that you guys should be happy with Dak Prescott. I think that's a cop out, but I think that's an easy way to answer it. I think you
It's
guys would have.
hard. I'm gonna just be very honest with you. That's a very hard one. That's been a debate since they came out of college. My homeboy, he's a Clemson fan, and he always been like, Deshaun's better than Dak. And we've been going back and forth. It's tough, man.
Yeah,
I feel
I
like
kind of agree with
it,
Sam. I would take either or. I don't think you'd be
I
that
take would
upset.
take either or. That's how close it is. But I feel like, in my opinion, I think Deshaun has a little more natural talent at the quarterback position than Dak, and I think that's what pushes him over. If
I
you
think
understand what
Dak
I'm
has
saying,
more leadership, though.
definitely
Right?
he has the yes. That's where the split is, and I think that's why people debate. In my opinion, that's why people debate that Dak and Deshaun thing because they look at talent wise. You look at Deshaun. I think Deshaun talent wise is more talented than Dak Prescott, in my opinion. And ain't no shade on Dak. Like Dak ain't no beast. And don't no Cowboys fans just start beating me up about it. But talent wise, I think Deshaun is a little better talent, naturally talent wise. But if we're talking about the off field and the leadership and what he's bringing to the table, team behind him, that's Dak all day, in my opinion. You understand
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah,
So what would you really have?
yeah.
And I feel like that's where I'm gonna go with my QB because even though he doesn't have that all natural talent, it's good enough. And if that leadership and everybody in the team is behind you, that's what you really need to get over the hump. So I'm gonna go with my boy Dak.
Yeah, and I mean, look, I feel like you need the unset when you have a team like the Dallas Cowboys have had on offense for the past couple of years. I feel like you need a quarterback that has the unselfishness to just say, "Let me just get the ball into my guy's hands." And I think Dak has that. Again, I think Deshaun Watson's a little bit. Sometimes you're a little bit too good for your own good, right? Like sometimes you have a little bit too much talent, and you just think you can do everything. So
Mm-hmm.
but well, yeah, it is what it is. So yeah, we got 71 people in here. Everybody, be sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe. We'll get
Yes,
to
sir.
what everybody's been waiting for. I know I like to do these little just catch up because me and you don't talk enough during the week. You know what I'm saying? We
Right,
save
right,
everything
right, right, right,
for
right.
now, so we got to make sure we good. But we'll go
Mhm.
through the bottom 17 one last time. We'll start with yours, and then from there we'll go to your top 15 like we did last week. I'll kind of go over it. I'll tell you how I feel. You tell me why you made the decisions, and then we'll switch on over to my top 32. So you ready, brother?
Let's do it.
All right. So again, the bottom 17 of James' top 32. He had Drew Lock, Daniel Jones, Mitchell Trubisky, Davis Mills, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Marcus Mariota. And then 23 to 16 was Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, Wentz, Jameis Winston, Goff, Jalen Hurts, Mac Jones, and Jimmy G. Now, before we go on to the top 15, how do you feel about this? Obviously, a good week and a half removed from making it. Anything changed to you? Any differences you would have made?
Yeah, I don't think I had Tua on here, so I would replace Tua, Baker Mayfield out of there, get him out of there. It was that Cleveland thing just kind of threw me off. Keep it all the way real because there's so much doubt. Tua, so to slide Tua in there. I have him at 22, but I think he could probably be better than the Carson Wentz and the Jameis Winstons of the world. So we could see where that list between that 20 and 22, between the Tua, Jameis Winston, and Carson Wentz, that will be a little bit of there because Tua still got to prove to me, in my opinion. There was a lot of hype behind Tua when he was at Alabama, a lot of hype about Tua. Like he was the next greatest quarterback ever. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And he's came in, been very average. So that's why I feel like he's down there for me. He's still got a show. And to me, this is a huge year. Just kind of like Zach Wilson, not so much him because he's coming in his second year, but this is to his third year, right? But he did have the injury, but still, you have a fire speed receiving corp. You got a nice tight end, offensive line. We'll see that pretty decent. So they put it around you too. I need to see what you're gonna do.
Yeah, it's that's going to be one of the more interesting um, ones of the year because and somebody said it. I can't find the comment now, but somebody said all his yards are going to be from Yak. I wouldn't be surprised if most of them are. Like he's another one that just kind of got to get the ball out there and let his players work. But no, I agree with that. I like your list. And then let's get into the top 15, man. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
So you have Ryan Tannehill at number 15, number 14. We'll go five at a time like we did last time. Ryan Tannehill at number 15, Kirk Cousins at number 14, Lamar Jackson at number 13, 12, Ryan Tannehill, and
That's where I messed up.
Wayne Dakota.
I put him twice, and that's where
Okay, yep.
you feel me? So where we would do right here, y'all, and I know because Tua is out, so I'm still gonna keep him at bottom. This is where I would throw if we're gonna throw a Deshaun Watson in here, right? If we're gonna throw a Deshaun Watson in here, you see where the Tannehill name is on the 12. We'll move Deshaun Watson at the 15, if you hear me, the Kirk Cousins of the world, and then the Lamar Jacksons. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Would all kind of move up. You feel me? So
Yeah.
we would replace the Tannehill. Jackson would move to 12. Kirk Cousins would move to 13. Ryan Tannehill will move to 14. And let's put Deshaun Watson there at 15.
I respect that. That's
Yeah.
fair. Yeah, and I can't really, Lamar Jackson's a very interesting case because it's like I wonder what's going to happen if he even plays this year. I doubt that he doesn't, but obviously there's a little bit of turmoil out there. Ryan Tannehill is a very interesting player because Ryan Tannehill, I don't know I have him high as well. I can't sit here and act like I don't, but he's one of those guys that it's like, is he really that good? You know what I'm saying? Like he just, it's weird. I feel like he makes the plays that he has to make. Another guy that just relies on his team to be able to make the plays they need to make. Um, it's just weird. I don't know. You know, making this list, it's like if you ask me, is Ryan Tannehill a top 15 guy? I'd probably just say no off the top of my head. But when you like really break it down, it's like maybe he is. You know, I don't think there's 15 guys I would take ahead of him. So I like the Ryan Tannehill pickup, or placing numbers, whatever you want to say. And then Kirk Cousins, I love Kirk Cousins. He puts up crazy numbers. He just can't win games. I just don't know what's up with him. Maybe it's the team. I don't know, but I really don't have nothing against this. I think that this is a solid top five. And then Dak Prescott at number 11. I agree with that. You have Kyler Murray ahead of him, so I like
No, I
that.
don't. No, I don't. I
Did
got
I?
do
Did
I
I?
got
Hold on.
Kyler?
Maybe I messed up. I think I might have messed up. Hold up.
Yeah, yeah. I
Let me
think
double
you put
check.
you. Yeah, you did that on purpose because I didn't have Dak Prescott at 11. I had him
I think I
above
did
Kyler
mess up.
Murray. Yeah, you did because Dak Prescott was my top 10 guy, but above Kyler Murray because that's the talk we was gonna have.
Oh yeah, you
Dak.
right. You right.
Yeah, yeah.
You right.
See,
Hold on. All
you
right,
see,
I
y'all
got you
see,
right
coach.
now.
The Eagles always sabotaging out of
Yeah, I
it.
was trying to
Whenever
play you,
they
man.
always, you gotta see them, man. You gotta keep your eye on them guys, man.
All right, hold on. I'm gonna fix it up right now.
He's gonna
I'm gonna
fix it up
fix it
right
up right
now. But
now.
yes, but listen, I'll just talk about my five guys right here. If we're just gonna talk about it while you're judiciously fixing that up for me, I appreciate you right there.
I
But
got
if
you.
we're
I
just
got you.
but if we're talking about that list that you brought up, obviously Deshaun Watson, the talent is there, but he didn't play. So we'll put him in the top 15 right there. And then people say Tannehill shouldn't be that high. I get it. He was a eighth pick overall. He wasn't terrible at Miami. I mean, who did Miami have? And then when he came to a pretty decent team, they've been going to the playoffs. He has been the help. Mariota wasn't doing it. So I feel like Tannehill can, as far as top 15 right now, I mean, yeah, why not? Let's look at the other players that we had him above. Why wouldn't he be above a Jalen Hurts and those guys right now? Why wouldn't it be? I mean, yeah, I'm satisfied where I got him at.
I will say though, I think that Jalen Hurts falls into that Ryan Tannehill category at some point. I do think that he's gonna. He doesn't have to do much. Obviously, we have his wide receiver now, so maybe that adds to me thinking that. But like, he doesn't have to do much. You just have to get the ball to the players. You have to be accurate, and I think that that's what Ryan Tannehill at the very worst was with the Tennessee Titans. He was never going to try and do too much, right? You know what I'm saying? He went out there and just did what was asked of him. So, for Eagles fans that are watching, I think that we can look at Ryan Tannehill and be like, if Jalen Hurts can at least be there, we might have ourselves a really good quarterback. And if Jalen Hurts at the end of the year, we're saying, oh, this guy is top 15, the Eagles are going to be a scary team. The Eagles are going to be a very scary team. All right, I just fixed it. I'm about to post it right now for you.
Okay, I appreciate
It's
it.
been it's
But
been a
but
wild week.
But I'm saying, but we're talking about Tannehill. Like I said, he came over, 2,700 yards, 22 touchdowns, six interceptions, 2019. 2020 had the really good year. I mean, 3,800 yards, 33 touchdowns, seven interceptions. You know what I mean? I know we're talking this year, this past season wasn't the greatest, 21 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, still 3,700 yards. I know we know about the Derrick Henry, but they still got to the playoffs. I still feel like if we're talking about the top quarterbacks right now, and he's getting his team to the playoffs regularly, I gotta include him in there, big dog.
No, I respect that. So I just fixed it. Apparently I'm the dummy that put Tannehill twice. I appreciate you owning that though, big dog. That's love right there. You know what I'm saying? You made me look
Mhm.
good, but so your real
Yeah.
top 15 goes like this. So you have Matt Ryan, Kirk Cousins, Ryan Tannehill, Derek Carr, and Kyler Murray as your first five for that. I
Okay.
respect it. I respect it. Again, there's Matt Ryan. I think I had him a little bit lower, but we'll see. I wouldn't be
I
surprised if he
I
was
ga-
top
I gave
15.
I gave it I gave it to Matt Ryan. People probably say Matt Ryan, really? Are we serious? But Matt Ryan, he's still formidable as far as he's going to a
Yeah.
team like with it's kind of I told you, it's like the Philip Rivers thing. Philip Rivers wasn't terrible. I mean, we knew he was done, right? But if Matt Ryan, he's got a good team around him. I think he can still play and make plays. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not like he's falling off like he's the worst quarterback in the world. No, he's got a good offense around him, good offensive line, great running game. He has some receivers. I don't think he's going to be bad this year. And then I said Kirk Cousins. You said it yourself with Kirk Cousins. He's a steady guy. He's going to win you some games. He ain't never going to win the big games for you. We've already seen that. He is Captain Checkdown. He's super conservative. We know who he is. But Kirk Cousins, he can win some games for you. He can throw the ball around. I don't hate on old Kirk Cousins. You know what I mean? He's steady. Every single year, you know what you're going to get with him. He's a steady player. And then we did what we just did our top five, and then Derek Carr. I like Derek Carr with the Raiders. We'll see what he does with Devontae Adams. That was his boy back in college. Carr puts up numbers year in and year out. He beat Dallas. But Carr to me, he's still kind of a choker. And he'll go on runs where he's looking absolutely fabulous, and then he'll have 3 or 4 games right after that, and you're like, what? So that's where my kind of thoughts on them. And Kyler Murray, he's super talented, supremely talented. But I think he's just a little overhyped in my opinion. People talk about how Dak looked in the playoffs. Kyler Murray looked like absolute trash in the playoffs this past playoffs. Okay, he did not look good at all. And I feel like they pushed him up a little bit too much, in my opinion. And I feel like he still need to prove. He's talking about asking for all this kind of money and sitting out. I don't know if he's that guy yet. I still need to see another year of Kyler Murray, in my opinion.
I respect that. And this is where we argue now. This is where we fight, and this is what everybody's been waiting for, probably since we started this show, was for this argument. But it is what it is. Look, I will say this: Derek Carr, I have him higher. I really like Derek Carr. I think
Why?
that he's so under. That man puts up numbers. After last year, he had like a crazy streak of games with over 300 yards, and it was like during all this craziness going on with the Raiders. Like, I feel like they never really like put any faith behind him yet. Every year he goes out there and performs. Like, I'm not saying that, I guess I'm saying that I put him at number 7. So I am saying he's one of the better quarterbacks in the league. And I think that he is. I think he deserved that extension. I think you add a Devontae Adams that only, brings up his stock. So I think he's going to have a monster year this year. I really do. Obviously didn't put him ahead of that.
Games, though.
I think he'll win some games. Last year, I was surprised that they won as many games that they did.
But here's my thing. I'm asking you, right? Okay, yeah, he has those numbers. But see, that's the thing about Derek Carr, in my opinion, Joe. He's going to have numbers. He's a numbers guy, in my opinion. But I don't think he's a guy that's ever going to take you to that land.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
Know.
That's fair to say. But I mean, if you put him on the Cowboys with, Amari Cooper, CD, like you put him on with all, I think that he'll
games though.
I think he would win those games. I don't think he's choked in the play. Like, when is he choked in the play? When has he choked and lost his team games? I really don't think he has.
When's the last time they've been in the playoffs?
Yeah, no, that's true. That's I think they made it last year, didn't they?
Did they?
Weren't they in that last situation where they had to like tie the game to make the playoffs? Hold on, I don't know if they made the playoffs or not. Let me make sure before I talk junk.
Yeah, check that out.
Let me see the last time he made the playoffs. Yeah, so they made it last year, and they lost to the Bengals 19-26. That's not bad. And then 2006 was the last time they went, and they lost again. 16, excuse me, not 2006. So, I mean, he didn't choke. 19-26, only 300 yards passing. So it wasn't great. But
I feel like I don't hate on Derek Carr. I feel like he's a talented guy. I feel like he's a numbers guy. I feel like he's always going to get you good numbers, but I don't know if he's going to get you over that hump because I don't know if he has that gene. We'll see. I know he's talented though.
Yeah, we'll definitely see. Shout out to Lamar. I got shanked by the butter knife. He said a $5 super chat saying, "Is Dak the only QB more mechanical than arm talent?"
I think he might always be saying like mechanical issues.
I don't
Dak
know.
the only quarterback
I think he's saying
versatile?
like, is he more a technical player than he is just pure talented? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he's more of a
Yeah,
technician.
I think when you look at the other list, like if you pull that list back up right quick, Joe, for me, please. If you look at the other players on this list, right? Everybody knows what we're talking about, Joe, when we're saying when you the eye test, right?
Mhm.
People act like that ain't real when you talk about eye test, right? You can see certain players, you're like, oh, he just has it, right? And then you have to see other players like, he's good, but he may have to work at it. He's not natural ability. We see it. And so I think that's where Dak has that ability, but I don't feel like he has that natural quarterback throwing ability, like maybe like the Aaron Rodgers or the Josh Allen's the arm, even though he still had to be better accuracy. Or like the Russell Wilsons or the Matthew Staffords. You know, people gonna go off on me or say something to me. Matthew Stafford has high. I mean, dude went to the Super Bowl, and you can't
Yeah.
sit there and say Matthew Stafford is a bad quarterback. He does dumb things. We know Matthew Stafford does dumb things. We know that. But don't sit there and tell me Matthew Stafford ain't got no talent because he was playing Detroit. And the only
Yeah.
reason why they had a chance was because of him and Calvin Johnson.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll say this, man. People love to use they love to use that. Oh, it's a team stat when they're winning. You know what I'm saying? When it works for them, but it works all the time. That's an all the time thing. It's always a team stat, no matter what. If the because even in Eagles lands, even with Philadelphia Eagles last year, they were doing that a lot, and it kind of upset me with Jalen Hurts because I don't mind, and I know people love calling me a Jalen hater. I don't mind giving Jalen his flowers, but I'm not giving him flowers that I stole from someone else. That like people are saying, "Oh, he led us to the play. He brought us to the play." That's not what happened. Let's be realistic about that, and it is what it is. That just triggered me, but it is what it is. So I want to get to one name in particular, okay? Because like we said, I wanted to argue with you a little bit about Derek Carr. We're going to talk about Dak Prescott and Kyler Murray. So for that, I want to switch to my bottom five. Obviously, I put Ryan Tannehill here twice. I'm slow. It is what it is. But I do have Dak Prescott one behind where you had him. All right. So I have him at number 11 behind Kyler Murray. I know this is something that when you saw it, you were like, oh, we're going to have a conversation about this. I personally just think that Kyler Murray has not, obviously, he had DeAndre Hopkins. That helped him out a lot. But he just hasn't had the consistent set of tools around him like a Dak Prescott has. It's not about winning to me. It's not about what they did in the playoffs. Because realistically, Dak Prescott didn't have the greatest of playoff games this most previous year either. It's not like he went out there and was going to win it. So they had both bad games in the playoffs. You guys have one more playoff win. I just think that if I'm going into the trenches, if I'm going into a game,
Well,
I'm
Dallas
taking
still had
Kyler
a
Murray
chance.
with me.
So Dallas still had a chance to win that game, though.
They did.
And
They did. That's true.
even that pass that Dak took through, if there was a half a second better of a block, the pass was completed to Cedric Wilson. It just barely dropped, right? So they still had a chance. As bad as they played, they still had a chance. They had no chance the way Kyler Murray played. And I know they went head to head that this past season, and we saw what happened. But to me, that was more on the coaching of the Cowboys of why they lost that daggone game to the Cardinals. You know what I mean? It was more the coaching of how they did it, and that's where the things were exposed. With we're talking about with Kellen Moore. But to me, when we see what your overall, I mean, number one pick, first round, first selection. I'm not using the rounds, but look what Dak has done consistently as well.
I respect that. But at the same time, I'm sure that there's a running back out there that put up really cool numbers compared to a Barry Sanders that was, a fourth, fifth round pick. Just because he's a fourth round, fifth round pick, that doesn't give him extra points. I'm not going to put him on the level of a Barry Sanders. Now, I'm not saying that the talent gap is that massive between these two. I'm just saying, like, I hear that a lot. That, like, he's a fourth round pick, look what he's been able to do. And I respect that. I get that. And that is impressive. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure we'll say that about Jalen if he becomes something big. We'll say he wasn't even supposed to be there. It's a beautiful story. But at the same time, I just feel like you look at that game against the 49ers, and as much as you can say Dak kept you in that game, I can say Jimmy Garoppolo probably kept you in that game just as much. So,
Oh, I'm not
I
even saying Dak kept us in that game. What I'm saying that we still had a chance
yeah,
because he wasn't playing so terrible in that game that they didn't have a chance. But yes, Jimmy Garoppolo, I will agree, kept us in that game by playing goofy. I will definitely agree with that.
yeah, I don't think that it's a big difference between a Kyler Murray and a Dak Prescott. I'll be 100% honest. I think that it's a good argument either way.
You can flip
Um,
it either way.
and maybe maybe I did this just to upset you. Maybe that's what maybe that's what I did.
I'm just,
But I
yeah, I'm just
do,
not
like I
having
said,
Kyler Murray. I'm not doing that one.
if I had to go into this year and say I'm betting on this quarterback, to have a great year, I would have the slight edge for Kyler Murray. I think that there's a lot on the line for him. I think he has a very good team around him, a coach that wants him to do whatever it is that makes him feel most comfortable. So I just feel like there's a lot in line for Kyler Murray to have a better season than Dak Prescott. I'm surprised people ain't pissed off in the chat. You got another $2 super chat. I don't think Kyler has better arm talent than Dak. I do.
He can wing it. You know what I'm saying? I think that can throw that ball too. I think it's just that's what I'm saying. Maybe Kyler's short, man. You know what I'm saying?
He is
He's
short.
really short. So you know what I mean? Like I said, I'm not taking Kyler Murray over Dak. I just don't see it. I just don't see where right now he is better than Dak Prescott. That's just me. And it's not even no hate on Kyler Murray or anything like that because, I kept track of him when he was coming out of college at Oklahoma. But
Yeah.
right now, I'm not putting a Kyler Murray over Dak Prescott, especially with the performance he had in that last game.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think it's that far off. I'm kind of glad that because we didn't talk about our lists before we did them, so I'm kind of
Mm-hmm.
glad that we obviously didn't, and we're kind of close on it because it is a good conversation to have, and it'll be interesting to see down the line. What happens between the two. I don't think that anybody's sitting there comparing the two, but it'll be interesting to kind of go back to this conversation. Even with Jalen Hurts, because we both agreed on Jalen Hurts, which was actually kind of incredible in my opinion. I did not see that
Mm-hmm.
coming. But
Mm-hmm.
so we're gonna get let me get this down real quick. Hold on, my bad. All right, so we're gonna get to the top 10 for mine. I had obviously Kyler Murray, Russell Wilson, Matthew Stafford, Derek Carr, Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Timothy Brady, Rodgers, and then Patrick Mahomes. Um, anything? How do you feel about this? Before, like, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, top 10, obviously Kyler Murray, no. But looking at I mean, Derek Carr, no, I'm not putting him in my top 10. Yeah, no, that's not for me. But a lot of people in here will say, why is Justin Herbert that high? He hasn't done nothing. He hasn't made it, to the playoffs. He hasn't done anything. You know what I mean? Folks, come on, man. I get it. For real. I agree with he hasn't made the playoffs. But come on, man.
Yeah,
Look at Justin Herbert, dog. Just stop it. Just stop it and just stop acting like Justin Herbert ain't no dog. He is. Okay, and if they continue to build those team around him, Joe, he gonna get them to the playoffs. I definitely
fact.
believe that. I mean, they were fighting right there at the end. They don't have a chance without Herbert, man. He makes that team a whole bunch better. He was under. I mean, he was slept on coming out of college because they were talking about he fell off a little bit. He kind of had to play in that senior game, and he turned up in that senior bowl game. Then the buzz started again, but he went to the Chargers and done everything they've wanted. And I feel like he gives them a chance. And yes, he has to get to the playoffs. Yes. But if we're looking at talent wise and what he's doing in the numbers, I'm putting him in my top 10. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think it's. I love Justin Herbert. I think that Justin Herbert might be better than Joey B. If I'm being 100% honest, I might have underrated him. Joey B gets the slight nod just because of what he did in
No.
the playoffs. You look at those
I think
numbers.
he has, the numbers, but I think Joe Burrow, when we talk about the leadership thing and that he
Yeah,
has that it, I think he's got that it. That's why he's up there.
Yeah,
Is
no,
the worst.
that's 100% true. Yeah, your boy Rome has hated everything I've said about about Harry Chesley. We gonna have to get
Hello.
rid of it.
What's
Rome
up,
gonna have to
Mo?
cuss me
What's
out
up,
one of these
dog?
days, bro.
Hey,
We gonna have
Rome.
to fight
Hey,
live on air,
hey,
because he hates me.
hey,
He's
bro.
mad as hell.
But look, check it out. Because what you said, Rome. Look at the cow. Look at my name and look at Joe's name. He
Oh
got me in
yeah,
blue, big dog. He got me in blue, big dog.
yeah, we'll show it. I was gonna keep it the way I had it too, just to get you upset. But yeah, we did it for you. We did it for you. It is what it is. Y'all can stop yelling at me now. It is what it is. Uh, but no, yeah. Look, I like. I've seen people in here saying that Russell Wilson should be higher. Maybe yeah, maybe higher than Derek Carr. I guess you guys don't like Derek Carr. I think Derek Carr is really good.
Yes,
Matt
Russell
Stafford.
Wilson is higher than Derek Carr, dog.
I like Derek Carr. I really do like Derek Carr, and I
I
think
see.
Russell Wilson
I
had a
see you
terrible
do.
year last year. Russell Wilson had a terrible year last year.
He had a terrible year last year.
In my opinion, you have two of the best wide receivers. You have not two of the best, but you have DK. You have Tyler Lockett, and you did literally nothing on offense. You guys won like 4 games. Like, it was just, I don't know. I thought it was an ish show. Maybe there was more going on than meets the eye, and maybe I'm being a
3,100
hater.
yards, 25 touchdowns, only 6 interceptions. Your team sucks.
25 touchdowns.
25 touchdowns, yes. 6 interceptions.
Jalen Hurts had 25 touchdowns.
Okay, but we know who's better.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm not saying that, but I'm just
And yeah, that team was trash. And now you know daggone well.
their
him going to the
defense was
Broncos,
trash.
You know him going to the Broncos. That puts the Broncos up there now, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I
Why?
still got him top 10, but
Who's
but
better
his
than Derek
defense
Carr?
was bad.
I'm sorry, I'm fighting you all day, and you put Derek Carr and Russell Wilson. No.
So at the end of the year, we're gonna go back for the Derek Carr and Russell Wilson, because I
We
do
definitely
believe
will because he's going to
Derek
turn
Carr
up
is
in
gonna have a better
December.
year.
No,
I think he will. I think he'll have a good year.
Division. It's going to be even better. They're playing the same division. It's
Yeah,
gonna be
they
even better.
do.
They go
That's
head-to-head
true.
twice. So this
That's
is going to be
true.
better. So we can definitely watch this and talk on this. So all you folks that's listening to this right now, remember when we talked about this Derek Carr, Russell Wilson
Yeah,
thing.
clip me. You definitely clip me, because I'll own up to this one. I do. I think that Derek Carr is gonna have a great year, and I think Russell Wilson is just. I don't know, Russ. I don't know, man. I don't like
Oh,
Russell
come
Wilson.
on.
I'm not gonna lie.
I say, yeah, that's just hate. So I feel like that's personal right there. I feel like the personal thing is coming out here, and now we're not really talking about the player.
I wanted Sierra, and you know what I'm saying. He went out there, but no, I mean, look, I do understand why people would say Russ. That's the highest I would put him, though. Is probably up at 7 over Derek Carr, and then move the other two down. But I don't think I would put him in my top 6. I feel very confident that these are going to be probably the best 6 quarterbacks in this year. So I mean, yeah, that's probably the only change I'd make.
I feel that. I know people are, anointing Josh Allen, but I'm not saying he's not, because Josh Allen was nice, but he still had those accuracy issues, even when he came
Yeah.
in his first couple of years, and that was his problem at Wyoming. And one of the things is they said that if you have accuracy issues in college, it's going to follow you in the pros, and that's a lot of rings be true, because it did. So he had a phenomenal year with Buffalo, but I want to see this year again too. I want to see that if he duplicates what happened last year. You get what I'm saying? Because now everybody's kind of crowning him, and I ain't saying Josh Allen ain't nice. That's what I'm not saying. But I need to see the back-to-back year on Josh Allen right here.
Yeah, I definitely hear you. And Joseph says, first of all, I love your first name. That's a great first name, from one Joe to another. But he says, I would bother both of you if Herbert can't get in the playoffs. We own up. That's
fine.
one thing.
I will own up to that.
Exactly. I want you guys to come back to those lists and call us out, because that's what it's all about. Jeremiah said Sierra's overrated too, by the way. All right, so we go get into your top 10 now.
I agree with that one.
Yeah, yeah, I ain't gonna lie. It's been a while since she was dancing on cars and stuff. So yeah, I don't know if it's the same. But let's get into your top 10. You got obviously Dakota Rain Prescott, Matt Stafford, Russell Wilson. So you're not too far. Lamar Jackson at number 7, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, and then basically the same as we had it. Brady, I had at number 3. You have him at number 2. Rodgers at 3. Mahomes number 1. Josh Allen 4. Justin Herbert 5. And Joey B at 6. I respect this. I like this. Lamar Jackson I was a little bit lower on, but you know, I
I'm a little leery on Lamar because he's so polarizing right now. You know what I mean? Lamar
yeah,
Jackson, because of what's going on. But we can't sit there and say the dude is not electric, man. I get it. He's not that passer. I never thought he was that passer when he was at Louisville. I never looked at him like, ooh. Obviously, I'm gonna keep it real. Like when he was at Louisville, I wondered. I'm being very honest, Joe. I wondered, was he going to be that quarterback? What I see at Louisville, because first of all, I thought he was too little.
yeah,
He was built like a RG3 because you remember how RG3 was, but RG3 was little. You know what I'm saying? And I still think he's not big. So, him doing all that running, he was only like about 210. I was wondering, can that transition to the NFL? But I mean, we saw what he's done, man. He took a little step back this past season. We saw, what happened. But the kid is electric, man. And when he starts getting on a roll, man, he's electric. I can't say he's not. We'll see this year. I have him high up there because maybe his past of what he's done, maybe that pushed him up there for me. And he's still young, you know what I mean? So maybe that pushed him up a little bit higher than some people would like. But I love his talent, and we'll see this year with the Baltimore Ravens. That's the guy I'm
yeah.
gonna keep my eye on his rating.
I love Lamar Jackson. I actually got to see him play. Like I'm from originally Connecticut, so Louisville used to be in, I believe, the Big East. Is what it was at that point, for football and everything. So I got to see him play. I got to see Ray Rice play in Rutgers too, but that's a whole nother story. But either way, I got to see Lamar Jackson play a lot, and I watched a lot of his games because he was like very accurate. That was the craziest thing because I thought it was funny, like him coming out of college. Everybody was saying he couldn't be a passer, he couldn't do this, he couldn't do that. I thought he was a really good passer, and in college football, I thought he was really good. And then he comes to college, he comes to the NFL. It's been hard for them to get wide receivers to stay out there. Obviously, losing Hollywood Brown and everything this year, so it'll be interesting. Obviously, Mark Andrews is going to be a huge part of that organization. We'll see what happens. I like Lamar. I have him a little bit lower, just because I don't know, because he's just not like that. He's just not what I'm used to. I don't know. I don't
I
really know how
agree.
to say
I
it.
agree. I that's why I said, I look at what he's did in the past, and maybe that's why I pushed him up higher, Joe, in my
Yeah,
opinion. But Dak is a better thrower than him. I mean, and I think Dak is not a natural thrower, but he can throw it better than Lamar. When I see Lamar throw the ball, sometimes I wonder why I'll be honest with you. He's so dual threatish, and he can just
yeah,
change the game with so much with that. You know what I mean? That's where you kind of you see that talent with it. But when he throws the ball, it's ugly to me.
yeah,
And if I was a receiver, if you want to be 100% honest, if I was a receiver in free agency, I would not go to the Baltimore Ravens.
yeah. I think a lot of the free agent wide receivers feel like that because none of them do.
I
None
mean,
of them do.
it's the truth. I'm not going to the Ravens if I'm a free agent receiver. I'm not going to the Ravens.
Yeah, and it's. I got scared of that with Jalen Hurts. To kind of bring it back to the Eagles a little bit. I
Mhm.
get scared of that with Jalen Hurts because I don't know if he's going to be able to become that guy that can
He's a
kind of
better
share the
thrower
love.
than Lamar, in my opinion. Lamar, the way he throws that ball, I mean, he's talented. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? He's just so supremely talented. But the way he throws that ball, I'm just like, how does it hit the spot?
yeah.
I'm gonna keep it real.
I don't think he has many changes. Like he doesn't have many pitches, right? Like he doesn't have any changes of speed. It's like always a dart. It's always just a straight line
Yeah,
to the wide receiver. So that's the
yeah.
one thing that kind
It's
of
not
throws me
like,
off.
yeah, it's just not like, just the straight ball. Like he throws it, it's just straight. Doesn't have like the
Exactly.
lift and like we seen when you see the Rodgers of those guys just drop those bad boys and boom. I don't see that.
Exactly. And that's why a Hollywood Brown didn't feel like he fit in what they were trying to do. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. We got 81 people between both the channels. Be sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe, join the family. Check in the description. There's a link to both of our channels. So if you're on Big Game James side or if you're on mine, go to the other channel. Be sure to support. We do this every Sunday. So let's give our final thoughts with our top 15s. Because we really didn't do anything different when it comes to the top 5, right? We look at yours and then we look at mine. Basically the same damn thing, except for the Brady and Rodgers. We have those switched. The Lamar Jackson, which we talked about, the Joe Burrow, who you have ahead of Justin Herbert. No. You have Justin Herbert ahead of him. Okay, I can't read. Yeah, so
Who do I
I
have?
mean we're at the same spot
I,
basically.
yeah, and probably should have flipped that. So I'm gonna jump out here. So if we're going back on my list right now, I would flip that.
Joey
I
B
would
ahead
flip
of
Joe.
Justin.
Yeah, I would put Joe Burrow above Justin Herbert. So I would definitely flip that. I would flip that.
Yeah,
And quite a step, I probably would put Joe higher. So looking at that, I would put Joe higher. So I would flip and put Joe at 4. Because he's been to the Super Bowl, dog. And I mean, Joe has the it factor to me. I don't care. And I seen Joe Burrow because I'm out here in Ohio. So I seen Burrow since he's been in Ohio. You know what I mean? He's got the it factor. And I know he didn't get a chance at Ohio State, but I think that was a mistake because, they were moving. They have not had a traditional type quarterback in Ohio State in a long time. The dual threat quarterback is big at Ohio State. So I feel like he got kind of slapped down with that. You know what I mean? And so then when he went over to LSU, he went and turned up. And you saw
yeah,
what he did. And you saw when he came in with Cincinnati, he's resurrected. And I feel like Joe Burrow is just the type of player that he doesn't have to have great players around him because he has that it that he can just raise the game from other people.
yeah.
So yeah, I
I
put
like.
Joe Burrow out there, y'all. So I apologize on that one.
Yeah, no, I like Joey B. Joey B is like people compare him to what's home name from the Jets that called his shot. Was it Joe Namath? That wasn't Joe Namath. What was it Joe Namath? That
Yeah, it
like
was Joe Namath.
it was Joe Namath. I don't know why I thought a lot of people compare him to him just because of like the swag and everything. Joe Namath was not that good of a quarterback in my opinion. If I'm
It
being 100%
reminds if
honest.
you want me to be honest with if you want me to be honest, and please don't, I know people gonna go off on me, but he has the Montana like traits to me. Not the
Yeah,
super athletic guy. He's not super athletic, doesn't have the biggest arm. He doesn't have the biggest arm, but he get it done. And he just makes you play better. He makes you want to play for him. He just has it. That's why I said he has the it. So
yeah,
that's what it reminds me of the Montana is. I watched Joe Montana, and Joe Montana wasn't the most talented, all that, but dog, Joe Montana got it done. And I know he had talent around him, and that's why I said you get that talent around Joe, and you see what happened. He takes
yeah.
it to the Super
Facts.
Bowl.
Facts. Yeah, facts. Joe's going to be an interesting guy to watch for the rest of his career because obviously hitting that, reaching that level of success, not only just in, making to the Super Bowl, but having such a great year. And people are now where you're going to be under a microscope, right? Like we're going to be watching his every move. And to be so young and to have that much pressure on you, it'll be very, very exciting and interesting to see if he can really hold up to that because that's tough. That's not
Yeah.
easy, coming into those type of expectations. So that's our top 32. James, I think that we did a pretty darn good job. I think
Yeah,
that you.
some people said I was blind out there. That's okay.
I'm surprised people as people hate mine. It's funny because I see like the
I got
people
some
in
people.
your chat don't like yours, and the people in my chat don't like
Right.
mine.
Yeah,
So
I don't like
it is what it is. We'll
it
own it.
is what it is. Hey,
And we've asked. I
we're,
would love, and I'm going to keep this
we're gonna go
open.
back to the list. We're gonna go back to the list so people can challenge us. So whatever we said on this list, we can
Exactly.
go back and check this because we're gonna be doing our show every week. So we can always
Exactly.
bring this list up and check it mid-season and say, hey, remember that list we was doing with them top 15, top 32 quarterbacks? Let's talk about it right now.
Yeah, exactly. And send us your list. Send us your list. I would love to
Definitely.
see some of your list. I want to see what you guys are thinking. Because this is the time. Now we'll probably move on to I don't know if James, I'm gonna be 100% honest. I don't know if I want to just jump right into getting some, just interviewing all because me and you have the plans to interview a bunch of different people from every other team. I don't know if we should jump right into that. Should we do another list? Should we keep it up to the fans? Like, what do you want to do?
Oh man, let's put it up to the fans, man. Do you fans want us to go holler at some of these other podcast people out there and throw them in like we did the Washington, the Giants of the world, or do you want us to jump out there with? I like the list too. I like either way. Or do you
Yeah,
want us to do the list of cornerbacks, D ends, all that good stuff? Because me and Joe, we go hard at this. We devil into it. So it's what the people want, man. Give the people what they
exactly.
want.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm going to throw up little poll on my
Total
community
pull up.
post, and
Yep.
you guys go vote, and you guys let us know what you want us to do, and we'll get it done because that's what we do. But other than that, man, you got anything you want to say to these beautiful people before we get out of here? You want them to enjoy your nameplate for a little bit longer until next week.
Oh yeah, just once again, shout out to all the fathers out there, man. Really appreciate us out there. Really appreciate all the fathers out there doing that grind. We don't get a lot enough love out there in these streets. And once again, man, really love doing this show with my dog Joe Castro, the Philly. He's one of the few. I ain't gonna say one of the few because I met a lot of good Philly people out here since I've been doing it with on the podcast tip. A lot of good guys out there. But I really appreciate my dog Joe Castro. Please go out there, support his podcast like no other, his show, and please continue to support this. We love how it's growing. We love doing it every day. We started this about 4 months ago, dog. We started
Yeah,
this
I know.
almost 5 months ago, man.
Time's
And
going
look
quick.
how the time is going quick. So I'm really excited, Joe, when we both hit training camp, because this is our first time doing this, right? So
Yeah.
we'll really be able to pick each other's brains, really be able to do it. And then when we do our head-to-head matchups, man, it's going to be a lot more exciting, I feel, because we did all this pre-stuff. It's going to make the matchup more interesting when we talk.
Yeah, and especially the networking we've already done between the teams. So we got
Right.
some beautiful things lined up for you guys. I think he said it perfectly. We appreciate you guys so much. This went from, I think the first couple times we did it, we had like 10, 15, 20 people at a time. And now we got about 80, 100 people, as an average. So I appreciate you guys. This is a lot of fun. I love that you guys put up all these comments. You guys really help the show run smooth. So I am going to put up a poll right after this. But other than that, y'all know what it is, man. That is James. I am Joe. We are the best of enemies. Peace.
Peace.
We're brothers. We're happy and we're singing and we're colored.